Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Grassroots Show. I'm Mal, your host for this evening. Hope everyone's keeping well out there and you're all now celebrating because this is our last weekend. We're back without football this weekend. We know that Grassroots football is not returning this weekend, but as from Friday next weekend, well, and I think midweek as well, because it's the 2nd of December that we're allowed to return. But 5th, 6th, that is the return of Grassroots football for all. And I think it's the 4th as well, because there's Friday night football that I'm sure I'll be out and about at, and having a chat to the referees, having a chat to the kids, the teams, the managers, the committees. I think everyone's going to be smiling when I'm saying everyone, but I still think it'll be one parent per child to see how things go, because we are coming in towards the Christmas period, aren't we? Still in November, but not far off December. So it's getting there, isn't it? I've still done no Christmas shopping. I think it's just vouchers all around. That's all it is, isn't it? Because what can you do at the moment? Because you just don't know what Christmas is bringing us. Fingers crossed. You can all have a nice Christmas dinner. Relax. I'll be working Christmas Day, as always, as every year. I normally do that, and I'll be looking after Tony. I think anyone who knows Tony, he likes to gab a little bit at Grassroots football, so he'll be out and about in the next few weeks, I assure you, providing the weather is not freezing cold, because Grassroots football is coming back, and so is the poor weather, unfortunately. I've been looking at the weather forecasts with our weathermen, weather ladies, and they're telling us, oh, frost, ice, very, very cold indeed. But hey ho, that is Grassroots football, we all get used to it. And we just wrap up, put your thermals on, especially if you're a referee. Don't forget, we don't want all these balaclavas, you see some referees not in uniform and the kids are all in uniform in their kits. So come on referees, young referees, experienced referees. If the kids are in kits, then why not the referees in kits? Why not indeed? Anyway, welcome. I think a lot more people, there's a buzz about the place, and here on Merseyside, Tier 2. And I know there's places in, well, not in Merseyside, but around Tier 3. We've been there, we've done it, we've wore the t-shirt. COVID is moving on, there's a vaccine coming. I don't know anyone who saw that Coke advert on TikTok. Was it a Coke advert? I thought it was brilliant actually. The Coca-Cola van's coming up with a vaccine, and something's coming, a vaccine is coming, and I thought it was brilliant. Anyway, let's just hope that that vaccine does work. It's not going to be long before it is out. I think it's March, so we have to make do till then. There may be another one out, but I think it's 90% success rate. So fingers crossed, the vaccine is coming, COVID vaccine. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting back to normal, because we need to get back to normal, especially in our studio here. We'll be out and about with our mics soon, and we'll be doing interviews. We'll be catching up with referees, we'll be catching up with committee members and also spectators and the coaches out there, because they're on a high. You see them all buzzing on social media now. Friendlies going, referees are getting booked up. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Because they'll have their diaries chock-a-block as from Wednesday next week. I think I'm right, yeah? I think it's Wednesday next week. So I'm sure there's games allowed then, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, non-stop. It'll be every single day, every evening, so the referees will be getting money in their pocket and buying their clothes, buying the toys, just saving up for a rainy day and putting it away for their holiday, if holidays are allowed. I'm sure they will be. Have you got to still take a COVID test privately? I think I was seeing that the other day, £150, so that goes on top of your holiday. It's getting beyond the joke now, isn't it? This is what it's all about. Anyway, I don't know whether you saw my post over social media. I've been training hard for the Emily run, yes, 7th of February, and our runners are all out and about. I think Paul's okay now, his bruising has gone down, so I'm sure he'll be doing a little bit of light training as well. That's Paul Cochran, there's Paul Rudkin who's doing it, there's Billy Vaughan, Billy Willow as known as, myself, we're all doing it, and Gordon Johnson and Tony Mallon. They're all hard at it, and I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 more runners that we'll announce to you for then, and we've got to try and raise that 25,000. Wouldn't I love it if it was raised on the day of the run and we completed the run, and then someone come over and told me the news that you just broke the 25,000 mark. That'd be great news for me, for the team, for Emily, for the family. I'd be ecstatic if that happened, but hey ho, we've got to make sure that we get GoFundMe page back up and running. Well, it is back up and running. It's just had to give everyone a little rest while the Premier League was back, Champions League was back. We didn't play too well, did we? But you'd have to take the goods with the bad, I suppose, in Premier League football and Champions League football. Your team can do well one weekend and poorly the next weekend or midweek as well. So I think we're all getting used to it. And the fans, they are allowed back apparently. There's going to be 2,000 fans in Tier 2s allowed back into the ground. Whether they'll make much noise, I should imagine they will. Because to be top of the voice, oh dear me. And it'd be nice to see some fans back, because I've hated football without spectators. It hasn't been good to me, it hasn't been good to yourselves, but, well, is it coming back? Is the return coming to not grassroots football? Got plenty of spectators there, but to the Premier League, I'm just hoping it really does. It happens, because we're all excited if that's the case. Now, how many teams, if we have full houses now, the bottom to the top to the bottom, how many teams would be affected by the fans and the awful moans and the booing towards these teams, because they all seem to be at the top at the moment, the teams that were struggling, and that's because they have no fans, and the teams at the top are struggling, or the top teams, should I say. Dare I say it? Go on, I'll get slated, I know. Well, they're not struggling. Well, they are struggling a bit without the fans, so when the fans return, their big egos come back, don't they? The ball skills come back. What more could we say? And I'd just like to say about Diego Maradona, rest in peace. Whatever he'd done in his life, you have to look back on his footballing career. That was what I loved. I admired his skills, how good he was with the ball. It was like glued to his foot, glued to his head, glued to his body. I'd never seen anyone control a ball, a football, so well in all my life. And he could even control it with his hand, couldn't he? He was very, very good at that. We all know that. Anyway, the hand of God. But he's raised himself up to meet God now. So rest in peace, Diego. I'm sure the football world, for your football, will miss you a lot indeed. Now then, I was talking about my post earlier on. You've all been reading it and read it, and you may have heard, if you live local in the Walton area, you have the Walton Torch, which is a new paper just coming out to me thin at the moment. As I reach 5,000, going up to 20,000 very, very soon indeed. That's a lot of people anyway, 5,000 people, nearly £5,000, I nearly said. But I'm doing a story on December the 17th, 2 stories actually, how we began and the story behind Don't Cross the Line, and also the story behind the Run for Emily, a Run for Emily from DXTL, Team DXTL. How did it come about? Well, I'm sure the reporter's going to put a cracking story up there. December the 17th, or 2 stories. Maybe I'll fill the page, I don't know. That I'll look forward to that. But it was a great 3-hour interview. Wow, I'd never been so long on interviews, and lads were ringing me up and turning around and saying, that's nothing to you, Mal. You can talk for England. We know that, I can. And when it comes to Don't Cross the Line and the story about the Run for Emily, well, I didn't shut up basically, but the reporter, who's run for many papers, told me that you can see a boot coming on here. He was fascinated with the story I had to tell. I opened up a little bit more. Obviously, I don't think that will be in the paper. I've asked him not to be let how good the reporter is to me. And I'm looking forward to that coming out. Let's just hope the stories really do make an impact. And also, I will be writing for the Walton Torch every month after that about grassroots. So your stories could be in there. Referees, young referees, experienced referees, committee members. I'll be doing a bit of reporting, which I'm already doing, I suppose, with Don't Cross the Line and our podcasts when I'm doing interviews. But I'll be doing it a little bit more, to say the least, regarding grassroots football. The news, the views, what is happening. And who knows, it could be you getting your team in there. So I'll find out exactly how we can do this, how we can go about it, off my boss then. Anyway, I'll be writing once a month. So if you're interested in getting a copy of it, if it's not from your area, then you can meet me at the football. December the 18th is next copy, so watch out for it please. I'm looking forward to it. And after that, I think the 17th of each month, it'll be released, or the last Thursday in each month. So I'm looking forward to writing for them, and I'm looking forward to getting some stories up, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of news and views coming in for grassroots football, especially with COVID-19, how it's affected the game, how it's affected your team. Are many teams folding, many referees coming back to the game? I think we'll see plenty of referees turning out now because they all want their Christmas money. We had a shortage just before the lockdown. Excuse me, just before the lockdown we didn't have many referees. I think we'll have plenty now because the pockets will be empty, they'll need to fill them up and they'll need to get out and about and buy all the presents. For me, obviously, I'm sure those referees out there will be buying me some sort of present. Yeah, come on, not in a million years, not in a million years. Anyway, I've got to write my cards out for everyone in grassroots football, not everyone, because I'll spend most of my time writing in the Walton Torch, wishing you all the best, and also on our podcast and DXTL TV from the touchlines. I'll be looking forward to that. Well, another big surprise, or another, well, it should be a surprise because we're doing the run for Emily, as everyone knows, and I'm training, and I've done a really, really good run the other day. My back was in agony. I've got to get that worked on. I've had acupuncture from my physio. He's working on my back tenfold. Next time it'll be on my calves, my thighs, you name it, it'll be on my hamstrings, and I think my back again, because every time I seem to go for a run, does anyone know, it's not lower back, it's the middle of my back, mainly the right hand side. I'll have to get it looked at, no doubt, because I've got a 26-mile run coming up. So next week we're going to have, hopefully, a special guest in the studio, and that special guest should be Donna. And Donna is going to talk, mum of Emily, and she's going to tell us the story in detail about the 7 years of trying to raise money for Emily, for funding, to try and get, to reach out and get the message across to people. Well, we're going to be helping Emily. We're going to have a nice interview, podcast, and also DXTL TV from the touchlines. And I'm sure Donna will be a little bit nervous, but will work no problem whatsoever. And the questions that I'm going to ask, and I'm sure not many questions, because I want to hear from Donna the story about her life as well, because don't forget, Donna battles cervical cancer as well, so it should be really, really interesting story for you ladies out there, for you gents out there as well. And I really want to hear the story right from the horse's mouth. This is why we're doing a run, and no doubt it'll make me want to do that run 10 times over, because as I say, when mum comes in and starts telling the story, you hear a little bit more detail, don't you? And a little bit more of the story will come out and make it an interest to all of us. So please watch out for next Friday. I haven't done an update on the GoFundMe page. I'll leave that video up to let everyone know, because I haven't promoted the GoFundMe page, because I wanted, as I say, give everyone a little bit of a rest if I possibly could, because people do need a rest, because there's that many things thrown down and shoved down the throat, as I say, regarding functions, well, it won't be functions, it'll just be charities, it'll be all kinds that's going on, and people will just read and think, oh, every time I go on social media I've got to pay money. I'm the same, it costs me a fortune, absolute fortune, I assure you, having a go of all kinds, and you just want to go over everything, but your pockets aren't that deep, they run out of money. You've got to say no sometimes, but I'll help as many as I possibly can. I really, really assure you I will do. Anyway, we're looking forward to Mum coming in, Mum Donna, who will be coming in and talking about Emily. And as I say, it'd be great to our viewers, our listeners, the story. This is what we want to portray, and we want to get it right home and right to you people. Not if you can't read the Walton Torch, because it'll be in there as well, but it'll be right straight from the horse's mouth, straight from DXTL TV, from Touchland, and also the podcast, Don't Cross the Line podcast, that we're working very, very hard on. Well, I've got a bit of news about our website as well. Our website is not up and running yet. It's still been hard to get it organised, but it is coming there, I assure you. I've got a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and also updating things for the website on Saturday, so hopefully it could be up and running on Saturday evening. There'll be a lot more stuff being added as we go along, so it is going to excite you, it is going to give you more detail. The website is absolutely brilliant. Sean has been working on it. It's taken a long time because Sean unfortunately lost his dad and also was struck down by COVID himself, so it's taken a few weeks, not just for myself to get my website up, but for Sean to get himself 100% fit, and it's looking like Saturday I'll be having a nice little meeting with him Saturday day, and we'll be able to advertise everything on our website. So apologies if you've been seeing the under construction emblem that we've been putting up, and if you've been trying to listen to the show, you wouldn't have heard it, because obviously the podcast, although they've recorded, is being more or less on DXTL TV from the touchlines. So we're getting more viewers and listeners, I suppose, in that sense. So we can combat 2, can't we? That is what we're trying to do, combat 2. And that'll be up and running by the weekend, the website. So www.don'ttexttheline.com. That'll be the website that you can check out. If you look and you see our post under construction, we apologise sincerely. It has been a while, but the work has been getting done on it. And as I say, you'll love it when you see it. It really is. And there'll be a lot of press going on there, because you can pick up all the news and views from our Don't Cross the Line website. I'm looking forward to that. So there's loads to do. And don't forget as well, we'll be looking for 10 to 14 year olds, and we are looking already. We need them, and also we'll do it's vulnerable kids, basically. This is what it's all about. It's all about the kids being young commentators, and this is who we're searching for. A lot of people have been in touch with us regarding this, because we want to get the kids back on the straight and narrow. Kids who are suffering in school, especially from mental health issues as well. We want to tackle that situation if we can. There's kids who are in school now who've got their mock exams coming up, and they're being put behind as well, so they're struggling. So we can imagine what they're going through. So we want to try and help them kids as well, but kids who are really contemplating on not going back to school at all. We want to try and attract the attention of them. We want to put courses on for you. We want to make sure that you can learn podcasting, you can learn editing, you can learn getting management skills, you can learn all that, and getting your confidence back is the main thing that we want to try and teach you, because you kids out there want to do something, and who knows, you might be the roving reporter that we're after and end up on your big radio stations all over the country, because you'll be have those skills, you'll be able to get those skills in a fun-packed environment, I assure you, when we put them down, because we have been lottery funded, and Black Lives Matter as well. We're looking into a campaign on that one, we're working on that one with a lot of people to make sure there's no racism in football, in grassroots football, in any sort of football. There is, we know there is, but we want to combat that as well, tackle that, and have a zero tolerance towards that, and verbal abuse and aggressive behaviour on and off the field of play. And also bullying. We don't want bullying, it's a pet hate of mine, most of them are, but as you know yourself, we'll try and combat that and try and tackle it, and make sure that even the kids out there can understand what is happening in grassroots football. And hey ho, adults, who's to say that you won't be one of our, well, picked on adults by our children who want to go out and give you an interview out there and talk to you about touchline behaviour, talk to you about pitch involvement, talk to you about when you're shouting and screaming at the referee or at your coach, they're not doing the right things. How does it feel on the pitch? And I'm sure those kids themselves will give you an insight into that one. I'm just checking the time. We're nearly there towards the end of our Friday show. TMB, what a weekend. We're into weekend 3 of No Grassroots Football. Next weekend, or it's the last weekend, it's weekend 4. This is the final weekend, so we're all smiling because grassroots football begins again. How much have you missed it? What have you missed about it? We'd love you to drop it out as a line. Man at don'ttexttheline.com. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social network sites. We'd love to hear from you, what you really have missed. Are you going to have turns to peace when it comes back? Because I'm sure, as I say, it'll be one adult per child. And we're looking forward to meeting up with you, talking to you, and wrap up well, because as we're saying, it's going to be very, very cold indeed, and especially next weekend, I assure you. So make sure the kids have got some thermals on underneath them, if they've got the kits on, and I'm sure they're allowed to wear woolly gloves, but what they're not allowed to do is wear hoods, because health and safety, they can get dragged, the zip can catch them in the throat. That's what it's all about, and the referees will be on top of that, no doubt, and making sure that those hoods are not worn, but you can put thermals underneath, 2 kits if you need be. Start keeping the kids warm. It's winter, grassroots football is back, expect bad weather, but let's hope we don't expect any cancellations. We've had enough of them, and I know there's managers out there chomping at the bit now, can't wait to get out and they've gone very, very quiet because they're that excited over it. So fingers crossed, it's all back as from next week, and we'll give you more updates about Grassroots football as we have them tomorrow evening on the Saturday Grassroots show. There we go, we've come to the end of our show. I hope you've enjoyed it on the Friday night, and it is a packed loads of information. Watch out for this paper, because I'll be writing a column in there in the next couple of months. So please, if you don't get it in your local area, then just drop us a line and ask me to save you a copy. So there you go. Look forward to some Grassroots football in 2 weeks' time. Well, 1 week's time, and I look forward to some Premier League football coming back this weekend. But in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. So for myself, Mal Lane, and all the team here at the Grassroots Show, don't cross the line and respect programme. We'll see you soon. Now Grassroots football is back. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Have a great evening, put your feet up and stay safe. Good night, God bless.